Hi students, welcome to 8th standard physics class. Let us continue the unit 2 in physics, force and pressure. The last class we have seen the what is surface tension. Now we are going to see the another topic of liquid, what is called viscosity. Viscosity. This is also one of the property of a liquid. So before explaining this viscosity, let us take the example. I take 3 bowls. In each bowl, the first bowl contains water. The next which contains oil. And the third which is contain honey. Now you take some smooth sheet. In front of each bowl. Now you drop water in this smooth surface and put a drop of oil here and put a drop of honey here. And you should slide this each glass surface or this plain surface. When you slide, which one move faster, that you find out. Water which falls very faster. Oil will become somewhat slower. Honey is very slow. Very slow. So what do you understand from this? So all are liquid, but the speed of water when it flows down, it will very quickly comes down. But oil takes time. Honey takes more time. So this is the property of this liquid, what we call viscosity. But this moving of all these 3 liquids happens because of the force between the relative motion between the each layer of a liquid. For example, if you take a water in a beaker, this is a water. This water can be imagined as a different lines. And there is a relative motion between this each surface of this water. This force between the each surface will become less in water. That's why it will move faster. But the force between the layer of this oil is very greater. This frictional force of this each layer of this liquid is differ for different liquid. That's why it takes time. So viscosity is very high in liquid honey than oil and then water. So this frictional force between the layers of each liquid, what we called as a viscosity. Surface tension means only acting on the surface, but viscosity means is acting all the layers of the liquid. That is a viscosity. In CGS system, the unit for viscosity is poise. But in the MKS SI system, that unit will become kg m power minus 1 s power minus 1 or n Newton second meter per minus 2. So detailedly you study about this viscosity in your higher classes. Okay, let's go to the another property of a liquid, what we called as friction. So what is friction? Friction is for example, for a friction, we can able to walk easily on the rough surface. than glass surface. Why? The reason is the friction between this rough surface is high than on this glass surface. Then what is friction? So imagine then what is friction? So friction is a relative, again this is the relative motion between the two layers. Force between relative motion between two surfaces. If this relative motion is greater, then the friction is there. The friction is there. Friction is high. But in the polished surface, for example this glass surface, two surface when it's contact, any two surface will be contact. If the surface is plane, there is no force between them. That's why the friction is less in the case of the glass surface. But any two rough surface is contact, it will exactly coincide with the surface. That's why the friction is there high in this. This contact force is high. Contact force is high. So friction is one of the contact force. Okay, and we'll see that what are the effect of friction? What is the effect of friction? So, because of this friction, it opposes the motion. When a friction between the two surfaces will become contact, exactly when it's contact, there is no motion. That's why I said it opposes the motion, stops the motion. And second thing, it produces the heat. When two surfaces contact, it will produce the heat. And so these are the effects of the friction, we are saying that. And what are the types of friction? Friction has, we take it as a two type: static friction, kinetic friction. What is static friction? For example, if you take a knot, when a thread, we put a knot, there is no object moves after that. It stops the motion of an object. But this knot does not move. It will be rest at this place. So this knot is acting as a static friction. Any object which tends to be rest due to friction, then it is called as the static friction. Kinetic means when object when it moves, an object when it is in move, when it is exist friction, that is called as a kinetic friction. Again, this kinetic frictions are divided into two types. One is called sliding friction. Another is called as rolling friction. So what is the sliding friction? Example you take as a seesaw. The kids are playing in the seesaw. When any object, when it is moves on this slider, it will goes slightly and reaches the surface, which is the bottom of the ground. That resists this plane will resist this motion of the object. But rolling means any object which is rolls on the surface. Example, ball. When it rolls on the surface, when it is only the not full surface is in contact with the surface, only a part of the surface is in contact. This will become a rolling friction. But which one will move fast? Any object when it is slides will move fast, or rolling will become move fast. Means this rolling friction is very less. Object moves very fast in the rolling friction than on the sliding friction. Take this example. Keep a book on the table. Book on the table. You slightly give a force. The book, when you give the force, the book will move somewhat later to reach here. At the same time, on a table, you keep the pencil, and above you keep the book on this pencil. When you give your force, so this book will fall down very quickly, because this pencil will act as a roller. So rolling friction will become less. It reduces the friction. That's why it will move faster. So that's why all the vehicles, the tires are rolling type. So that's why the vehicles moves faster and friction is less in this case. The friction is less in this case. So in the next class we'll be seeing that what are the factors that will affect the friction, what are the factors that depends on the friction, for the advantages and disadvantages of the friction. Okay, we'll see in the next class. Thank you.